Hey guys, my name is Raboy and welcome back to another video. Today's the big day because I'm releasing the newest and biggest update to my zombie apocalypse add-on so far. But before you go ahead and download it, please watch this video first till the end because we will cover the new additions, changes, and improvements to this amazing add-on. And this video will be quite long, so you might want to grab some snacks and drinks because we have tons of juicy new content to showcase. So sit back, relax, let's get on to the video. So here we have a change log of thousands of words, and I will summarize it as much as I can so the video won't be too long. Okay, with that being said, let's go ahead with the visuals first. I have given back the green color of the grass block as well as the leaves in this new update, only except for the grass and tall grass because the majority of the overworld is dirt. And since grass and tall grass generate on dirt, I want these blocks to blend in with the dead surroundings of the overworld. Let me know what you guys think of this change in the comments. Now let's move on to the new mob animations. I have improved the animations of the Villager, Pillager, Vindicator, Evoker, Ravager, and the Wandering Trader. I also added a new throwing animation for the Villager for its new ability, which we will talk about later in the video. There is also a huge improvements with the zombie visuals. They now have 4 death animations with significantly improved blood particles. The feral also now has a new death animation along with the new blood particle effects. And you may have also noticed the new sound effect when the zombies die. We now have this new blood splatter sound effect for added realism. This makes killing zombies practically more satisfying now. I don't know. Okay, we're now done with the visuals. Let's now move on to the new changes to the game mechanics. First is we now have rebalanced zombie spawning mechanics, and we'll cover each of them one by one. Alright, first is that zombies will now spawn on dirt and stone blocks. This is because even though you already have a base or house, on previous versions, you can't spawn-proof the area inside your base or house somehow, because zombies would still spawn everywhere, even inside your house or base. And I would suggest that when you're building your base, avoid placing the blocks mentioned above, where zombies could spawn in places that you don't want them to spawn. Next is that there will now be no zombies that will be spawning on day 1 when you first create your world, although a few zombies will spawn on the first night. This is to balance out the difficulty on the first day, for obvious reasons of course. Minor zombies will now start spawning on day 6, so mine as much resources as you can on these early days of starting your world before minor zombies start spawning. And in case you didn't know, minor zombies are quite tough to kill as they have 30 health points. That's twice the health of a normal zombie. Another zombie spawning mechanic that I made changes to is the feral. They will now start spawning around day 8 instead of immediately spawning on day 1, where you have absolutely nothing on your inventory. So, for those of you who are new to the add-on, ferals are the fastest zombies in the add-on. And not only that, they are also the smartest ones. They avoid damaged blocks, they can climb walls to reach you, and even break blocks above them when they're trying to reach you. Yes, the feral having the ability to break blocks above it is one of the new features in this update. But don't worry, these zombies are quite rare and are only most common during a full moon, so you won't encounter them as much as the rest of the zombies. And speaking of full moons, I have also rebalanced the zombie spawning mechanics during a full moon. Obviously, the first night will be a full moon, and you obviously won't have enough weapons, armor, and shelter to protect yourself from the massive hordes of zombies during a full moon. So, in this update, I made a change that there will be only a few zombies that will be spawning on the first night of your world to balance out the gameplay. I also made a change that the zombie horde sizes during a full moon would vary depending on the difficulty, rather than having the same zombie horde size for all difficulties, which makes sense. On easy difficulty, during a full moon, The zombie horde sizes will be the same as on normal difficulty when it's not a full moon. On normal difficulty, it will be the same as on hard difficulty when it's not on full moon. And finally, on hard difficulty, the zombie hordes will be doubled during a full moon. Okay, we're done with the new spawning mechanics for the zombies. Let's now move to the new amazing changes to the survivors. I have made a big change to villages. Instead of just a single iron golem to protect the village, it will now have comrades, which is the Illagers. These ones enemy of villagers are now here to stay and protect the village. They spawn naturally with iron golems when there's no iron golem present inside an active village. The Illagers also now actually stay inside the village, rather than just wander around then eventually leaving the village. Once they find a village, they will now stay inside that village. As you can see with these fellas I'm spawning outside the village here, they now go into an active village when they find one. So what I mean by an active village is when at least one villager is linked to a bed inside a village. And if the village is empty, the Illagers will not go and stay in that village, but will just wander around until they find an active village to stay into. But not only the Illagers go into an active village, but the zombies as well. The zombies now have this new behavior similar to village raids. When they spawn outside of an active village, they will go into and stay in the village boundary and wander around that village, much like the Illagers. This gives the impression of zombies realistically storming a settlement where survivors could be hiding, as you can see in this scene right here. Even though the zombies don't have a target yet, when there's an active village nearby, they will go inside the village boundary and wander around the village as long as it's an active village. So in case you forgot what I said earlier, a village becomes an active village when there's at least one villager linked to a bed inside the village boundary. So when a village isn't active, zombies will not go into the village but instead just wander around aimlessly. These changes to the zombies and Illagers make the gameplay significantly more realistic. So what do you guys think about these changes? Let me know in the comments as well. I also made a change for the new zombie Illagers, which they can now be cured the same way as zombie villagers. And instead of taking more than a minute when curing a zombie villager, zombie Illagers can be cured within only 30 seconds. Now let's talk about other new features I added to the zombie pillager and evoker. The zombie evoker now summons zombies instead of evoker fangs, and it will use them to protect itself and attack its targets, which is pretty neat. Curing a zombie pillager now has a 70% chance of the cured zombie pillager having a diamond sword as a secondary weapon. We will talk about that later in the video. Alright, moving on to the new individual zombie behaviors. I have introduced a new variant for the walker zombie. A walker zombie now has a chance of becoming a runner zombie, which is almost as fast as a feral, but have the same characteristics as a walker zombie, and the only difference is the speed. A walker zombie now has a 3% chance of becoming a runner zombie on easy difficulty when it's not a full moon, and 5% chance during a full moon. On the normal difficulty, on the other hand, it has a 15% chance of becoming a runner when it's not a full moon, and a 25% chance during a full moon. And finally, on hard difficulty, it has a 25% chance of becoming a runner and 50% chance during a full moon. So grab your speed potions, guys, because even though these zombies can't outrun you even when you don't have a speed effect, they will not stop chasing you until all of your hunger bar is completely depleted and you won't be able to run anymore. Alright, we're done with the runner zombie. Let's now move on to the feral. Ferals, as I've talked about earlier, can break blocks above it when climbing or trying to reach a target above it. And yeah, they can break any block that's at least one block above them when they're chasing or reaching a target. This is because the current existing navigational components of the add-on system don't yet support pathfinding through the bottom of a block into the side.
but I think it's possible through scripting. But I don't know how to do it because I don't know how to write script just yet. So we'll stick to this feature for now. I also made a change where ferals and miners drop more XP than regular zombies. And this makes sense because of the fact that these zombies are much harder to kill than regular zombies and you don't encounter them that much. Zombie villagers and illagers will also now be passive if they have the weakness effect, except for the player. And this is to avoid them from targeting or being targeted by the village inhabitants. As you can see right here, when they don't have the weakness effect, they can target their non-zombie counterparts. But if they have the weakness effect, they cannot target anything except for the player. They can still target the player. This is to make it for the player to cure them more easily and not killed by their non-zombie counterparts when being cured. Because it will be just a waste of golden apples if for that to happen.
Moving on, we have these lots and lots of changes to the mob behaviors included in this add-on. First is I have made some changes to the charged iron golem and the supercharged iron golem. All three levels of the charged iron golem and the supercharged iron golem now have the same explosion power of 4, and this is to prevent them from destroying everything around your base with their massive explosions when they die, especially when they're placed inside a base or a house. So to compensate for this change, I have rebalanced their health instead. So in the previous version, all charged iron golems have 600 health points, and in this update, the level 1 charged iron golem now has 200 health points, which is double that of a regular iron golem. Level 2 now has 400 health points, and level 3 now has 800 health points. And you can clearly see the pattern here that I've made, which their health doubling on every level. The supercharged iron golem's health is still the same health from the previous version, which is 1200, which is twice that of a level 3 charged iron golem. And it has the new smash attack, of course. And speaking with the supercharged iron golem's smash attack, in this update, its splash damage now occurs in front of the supercharged iron golem rather than the middle. Okay, so we're done with the iron golem variants. Let's now move on to the village inhabitants. Villagers, illagers, iron golems, and turrets now don't take damage from each other when they're using ranged attacks to avoid them from accidentally killing each other. And we will talk about the turrets later. Now I have made a huge improvements to the villager as well as the wandering trader AI. And they now have the ability to drink potions depending on various conditions. Villagers can now drink a potion of swiftness when they're avoiding zombies, or potion of invisibility when they're being outnumbered or surrounded by zombies. They can also drink a potion of fire resistance when they're of course on fire, and potion of health when they're low on health. One of the most notable changes of the villager is that they can now fight back, whether it's zombies or players attacking them. So that means they're now neutral to players instead of being passive. Villagers have become resilient in this new zombie-infested world, and they have to do whatever it takes to survive. The villagers can now throw different potions on zombies and players attacking them. They can throw whether a splash potion of harming or weakness at their enemies. And that's what's about the new throwing animation for the villager I talked about earlier in the video. Villagers can now also heal the Ravager, the Iron Golem and its variants when they reach a low health threshold by throwing a splash potion of regeneration at them. But only during the day, because obviously they sleep during the night. They now also throw a splash potion of weakness at zombie villagers and illagers. Next is that villagers, illagers, and iron golems now avoid attacking zombie villagers and illagers that have the weakness effect to give way for the player to cure them. This makes sense as to avoid the player from wasting golden apples trying to cure these mobs. Moving on, we have the new amazing AI improvements for the illagers. Okay, first is that Illagers now temporarily withdraw from battle when they reach a low health threshold by avoiding zombies while drinking a potion of health until they reach their full health and then continue to fight the zombies. Another change with the Illager AI is that they can now mingle with the villagers inside a village during the afternoon. This change doesn't matter that much, but since they're now friends with the villagers, they should be able to socialize with each other somehow, right? Okay, now the Evoker can now heal the Ravager and the Iron Golem and its variants when they reach a low health threshold by casting a spell which gives them a health regeneration effect for 3 seconds, but only if the Evoker doesn't have a target. The Evoker can now also drink various potions depending on certain conditions, similar to the villagers. Alright, now we have the Vindicator. It now has a 30% chance of having a diamond axe as its weapon, and a 70% chance when the Vindicator spawns as an Illager captain. And Illager captains only spawn within villages and Illager settlements riding a Ravager, and we will talk about the Illager settlements later on. Alright, next is the Ravager. The Ravager now enters a rampaging state by constantly roaring at zombies when it reaches a low health threshold, preventing them from doing any further damage to kill the Ravager. But the zombies can still reach a rampaging Ravager if there are enough of them to outnumber the Ravager. Last but not least of the Illagers, we have the new and improved Pillager AI. The Pillager now has a secondary weapon, which is the sword, and it has a 30% chance of having a diamond sword as a secondary weapon and 70% chance when it's an Illager captain. When outnumbered or cornered, the Pillager now draws its secondary weapon to fight nearby zombies until it will be far enough from any zombie to switch back to range mode. Finally, we have the Wolf. When tamed, the Wolf will now attack zombies automatically. It's a small change, but it makes a big difference as they now become a valuable companion by constantly protecting the player from zombies. And now, the highlight of this update, in my opinion, we have the new amazing turrets. But before that, if you're enjoying this video so far, please leave a like and subscribe if you want more updates to this add-on and other add-ons I already made before, as well as those that are coming soon in the future. Okay, now first we have the arrow turret. This turret can shoot arrows at fast speeds up to 48 blocks away, and we can tell that this one has a decent range and firepower. This turret can only target the walker, runner, miner, and the feral, but not zombie villagers and Illagers. All turrets have the same targeting system and health, which is 200. Turrets will also only work when placed on a turret-based block, which we will talk about later on. So how do we actually craft this turret? First, we need 3 iron ingots, a crossbow, an observer, and a sticky piston. Place them like this on the crafting table and we now have an arrow turret. This turret can also be found inside abandoned houses and Illager settlements, and it's the only turret that can be found in them. Moving on, we have the Pyro Charger. This turret shoots devastating flames that burn every target within a 32 block radius. Yep, I've changed its range for those of you who have watched my previous video. The Pyro Charger's range was 48 blocks, which is the same range as an arrow turret. So realistically, flamethrowers don't have a long range, so I had to scale it down to 32 blocks. And I think it's still too far of a range for a flamethrower, and I might have to even scale it down to 24 blocks on the next update. Let me know what's your feedback on this, guys. And like all flamethrowers, this turret overheats. Upon acquiring a target, it has 20 seconds of active time before overheating. When it finally overheats, it releases these steam particles. It has a 15-second cooldown time before becoming operational again, and you can distinguish it when it's cooling down when it releases these green particles. After it has cooled down, it now becomes active again, and when it acquires a target, it repeats the overheating and cooldown process all over again. What's also amazing about this turret is that it has a safety protocol and it also has a smart targeting system. Now what I mean by that is it doesn't target zombies that are already inside an active village to prevent it from accidentally burning everything down in that village. It also doesn't target zombies that are already on fire to make it as efficient as possible. It also requires its target to be at least 8 blocks away from it. Otherwise, the turret will not attack the target but only locks onto it, so as not to accidentally burn everything around it. I advise that you have to strategically place this turret in which it doesn't have any obstacle in front of it, as it will still hit anything that's blocking its flames, whether it's another turret or a block. I suggest that it should be placed on corners where there is little to no other objects blocking them. It's also the only turret that doesn't take fire damage. So, to craft this turret, we first need to craft its prerequisite item, which is the pyro charger machine. To craft this item, you will need the following items: 2 iron ingots, a blaze powder, a lava bucket, an observer, an iron block, and a sticky piston. Place them on a crafting table like this, and we now have the pyro charger machine. So the next step is crafting the turret itself. You will need the pyro charger machine that you just crafted, 2 iron ingots, a dispenser, and an iron block. Place them on a crafting table like this, and you now have the pyro charger. And now, last but not least, is my favorite one so far. Say hello to the most powerful turret, the sonic cannon. This turret fires a sonic charge every 2.5 seconds and up to 48 blocks away. Its sonic charge damages any target in its path within a 6 block radius, and it can also one-hit any target with a direct hit. Yeah, this turret is incredibly powerful but expensive to make. Just look at how it fires, guys. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? In fact, it's one of the most coolest things I've ever made. Yeah, anyway, to craft the turret, you will first need to craft the sonic compressor. You will need 2 iron ingots, a hopper, a trap chest, a sculk shrieker, an iron block, and a sticky piston. Place them on a crafting table like this to make the sonic compressor. Now, to make the cannon itself, you will need the sonic compressor, an observer, a dispenser, and 3 bone blocks placed on a crafting table like this, and voila! You now have the sonic cannon. A good thing to note, guys, is that all turrets have 200 health points, as I've said earlier, but the turrets can be instantly destroyed by a player by just simply hitting them. Let's say if you want to relocate the turret or replace a turret with another turret, you can just simply punch the turret and it'll drop itself. But if a feral, fire, or explosion were able to destroy the turret will not drop itself because it is now technically destroyed. Now, only the feral can attack turrets because they are the smartest zombies and they can also climb and break blocks. You can also buy turrets from the weaponsmith villager, but only when it already reached its maximum level will the turrets be available for purchase. The prices of the turrets will also be discounted when a cured zombie villager becomes a weaponsmith or is already a zombie weaponsmith villager. Guys, this update took almost 2 months to develop, so if you like this add-on, please leave a thumbs up on this video and subscribe to get updated with more awesome add-on updates as well as new add-ons coming soon. If you guys like my work, a little support will be much appreciated, guys. And becoming a patron shows that you really appreciate me as a creator making these add-ons. And becoming a patron gives you access to early access content to my in-development projects, and not only that, you will also get to have a custom Discord rank that will make you stand out from the crowd. You can even access all my add-ons in plain text, and what I mean by that is what I'll talk about now. Now, some of you or even most of you try to look at the files or the code of my add-ons. You may sometimes find nothing if you extract them, or the code is just a bunch of gibberish that's no way you'll be able to understand or modify at all. Now, if you want to get the plain text or the readable code of my add-ons, it is only available on my Patreon because making add-ons takes a long time and lots of effort and passion to make, especially as I am the only one soul that makes these add-ons. So as a way of gratitude for my work, the plain text version of my add-ons will only be available on my Patreon. See you there guys, thank you so much and may God bless you all. Alright, let's continue into the video. Let's now move on to the turret base block. All turrets need to be placed on a turret base, otherwise they won't work in any way. To craft the turret base, you will need 3 smooth stone slabs and 3 sticks and then place on the crafting table like this to make the turret base. And now you're good to go to destroy the zombies. Okay, so let's now move on to the structures. I have made some changes to the loot that spawns inside the abandoned houses. And one of them is that there won't be as much items as before inside the chest of these abandoned houses. You can also see the full change log on the MCPE DL post if you want to see the full changes to the loot in this update. And now let's talk about the new structure in this add-on. The Illager settlement, which I've mentioned several times earlier, is a huge fortified village that is 105 by 102 blocks in size, surrounded by walls and a total of 8 pillager outposts as guard towers. And the pillagers residing on these towers have significantly longer range than their satellite counterparts. There's also a bunch of arrow turrets surrounding the area, and it also has Illagers both inside and outside of the settlement to further protect it from the relentless zombie hordes. You can also find lots of goodies inside the chests of this amazing structure to help you progress further on developing your base. Or you can make this settlement your base instead. Now for the final part, we'll talk about the bug fixes in this update. First is that all tree types now grow with leaves. Yes, the annoying bug that trees grow without leaves is now fixed, and saplings now don't turn into oak saplings the moment you hold them in your hand. I also fixed 2 bugs from the supercharged iron golem. First is that I fixed a bug where sometimes the splash attack of the supercharged iron golem occurs above its head, and the other is the bug that it sometimes becomes stuck and unable to move. And finally, the last bug fix is that the zombie villager still burning in daylight. The only remaining bug now is that the throwing animation doesn't work on the wandering trader, and I don't know exactly why. So if you guys found some bugs, please let me know on the Discord server so I can remember it and provide a fix on the next update. So that's it for this update guys. This video took a very long time to make, so remember to like and subscribe and give some love by supporting me on Patreon. Enjoy the update guys. Thank you so much for watching and sticking to the end, and I'll see you on the next video. And as always, take care, God bless you, and peace out.